Now we will put the machine into use and do an actual demonstration. To start, we'll first look at the person to decide the treatment areas. In this case, we will work with the abdominal area, where we'll put 2 plates here on the front. We'll also work here in the hip area, where there's the start of cellulite, and the back of the upper thighs. Now that we have decided the zones that we will be treating, an important step is to take measurements of the waist, the hips, and the thighs. For the waist, I'll measure 5 centimeters down from the belly button to ensure that the measurement is always taken at the same place. And for the thighs, I'll measure 24 centimeters up from the top of the knee, again to ensure that every time the measurements are taken at the same place. I'll first measure around both legs, and then I will measure each leg separately. Before starting the treatment, I'll apply a cream containing active ingredients that will penetrate into the skin during the ultrasound treatment. The cream is to be thinly applied over the treatment zone like this. In this case, we'll be using the double frequency mode. We'll be using both types of plates. The low frequency plates labeled A to E on the abdomen and thighs, and the medium frequency plates labeled X on the lower back. We will use 3 low frequency plates for one thigh. I'll first need to attach them together. Then I'll take 3 more low frequency plates for the other thigh, which I will also attach together. It's very important to use a good amount of contact gel to allow for the proper transmission of ultrasounds. The gel needs to be evenly distributed over the entire plate. This can be done with the use of a brush or spatula. I'll now ask that the person position themselves over the plates. The wide fabric bands are used to hold the plates tightly in place. We will now prepare and position the medium frequency plates against the lower back of the person. These medium frequency plates are to stimulate the neurosympathetic system. We will now place 2 lower frequency plates on the abdomen, which will work to reduce the amount of superficial fat in this area. With the ultrasound machine, we have 3 options. We can work on superficial fat using low frequency, or on deep internal fat using medium frequency. The third option is to use the double frequency mode to treat both superficial and deep internal fat simultaneously. In this particular case, we'll use the double frequency mode. Now we are ready to program the machine. We'll first select the amount of low frequency plates we'll be using. In this case, we'll be using 8 low frequency plates. 2 plates are on the abdomen and 3 plates are on each thigh. We'll then select the amount of medium frequency plates by pushing the valid button. We'll then select continuous mode. For people who are extremely sensitive to ultrasounds, the pulse mode should be used. I'll validate my choice and I'll select the time of treatment by using the dial for a maximum of 30 minutes. In fact, 20 minutes is the recommended time. I'll validate the time and press the start-stop button, and this begins treatment. I can also change the strength setting in general. The recommended setting for low frequency ultrasound is 3 or 4. And 1 or 2 for medium frequency. The 20-minute session has now started and the timer is counting down. The green lights indicate that the plates are working correctly. One can feel slight vibrations, but the treatment is completely painless. If ever the person feels uncomfortable due to an itchy or pins and needles sensation, try repositioning the plate slightly to spread out the gel better. If the person still complains of uncomfortableness, you can add more gel. A treatment lasts 20 minutes on average and up to 30 minutes maximum. 2 treatments per week are recommended, and 3 treatments per week in cases where more efficient results are desired. A total of 10 to 20 sessions is ideal, depending on the person's needs. To optimize the results and evacuate and burn the liberated fat, it is strongly recommended to do either a vibrating plate or oscillating plate session after each ultrasound treatment. It is recommended to avoid eating food containing high amounts of sugar and or fat 2 hours before and after treatment. Now the treatment is over and we can remove the plates. One can see that the active ingredient gel that we applied before the treatment has completely penetrated into the skin. After treatment, a hydrating cream can be applied to soften the skin if needed. Any remaining gel should be removed from the skin. and then any leftover gel can be slightly massaged into the skin. And that's the end of the session. We'll now show you how to treat specific body areas and ways to position the plates through a few examples.
Je vais maintenant vous montrer quelques placements de plaques.
For example, 4 plates can be placed on each thigh
Le travail
for maximum results of this area.
avec lequel je peux utiliser un élastique plus petit. Je peux travailler également à l'intérieur du genou.
Another area that we can work on is the inner knee area, where a plate can be placed on each leg. And another specific area is the calf area, where we can also put a plate. And the famous love handle area can be worked on as well.
Et au niveau des triceps.
And we can finally work on the tricep area. Thank you for joining us for this training video.